Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Okay, let's go. I will place this like this. What if I just... Oh, what if I just reacted like this? Let's do it. All right. Okay, serious time. Serious. English Civil War. Not my first time learning about it, but it will not be my last either because I am still not completely, I'm not concrete on the topic. I'm far from it. So the king goes away to France, is banished or goes away to France. And the question about him when they're in the court and all that stuff around treason, I mean, it's pretty clear and cut. I mean, he called Scotland to invade England, but because of the definition and wording of the word treason, can the king commit treason logically if the definition is, going against the crown? I'm paraphrasing, but that was the issue there. I still have to shore up on a lot of the details, obviously. I gave it a preemptive like. Can't believe I haven't seen the Jabsy episode on this, video on this. Let's go. I'm all over the place. Go. I know it's a short video. It's a complex subject, and I might be rewinding a lot, but if you are not new, then you would expect that. If you are new, my name's Connor. Hello. Hit all the things. Original link to the video, top of the description. Right below that, link to the Discord. Right below that, link to my second channel. Go. English Civil War. Go.
In 1625, at the outbreak of war with Spain, King Charles became King of Scotland, Ireland and England, and he was quick to anger the English Parliament. Within just a year, he had already dissolved one Parliament and married a Catholic in this worried a Protestant nation. He dismissed another Parliament in 1626 when they tried to impeach the Duke of Buckingham for supporting the French in suppressing the Protestant Huguenots.
Okay, rift between the parliamentarians, or the parliament and the king. The king has the power to just dismiss them, apparently, and he is very pro-Catholic, or at least is portraying the image of someone who's very pro-Catholic. And most of the country, especially the North, is Protestant and doesn't want that. Okay.
He dismissed his third parliament in 1628 after they condemned the king's taxes and any leniency towards Catholicism.
Right.
Charles then ruled without a parliament for over a decade. That is until, in 1638, Charles demanded that the Anglican Book of Common Prayer was to be used in Scotland, and this caused the outbreak of the Bishops' War.
Okay, so he's trying to push Catholic books into Protestant Scotland. They're upset.
Scottish troops moved across the border and into Northumberland. Now, Charles, needing money, then recalled Parliament in 1640, but it only lasted 3 weeks because Parliament demanded the withdrawal of ship money.
Okay, now they want to all right, so spend 10 years without a parliament. He's in some trouble. He needs some money. This is definitely jogging my memory a bit. So he calls them back. So they're like, hey, spend 10 years or whatever, and he needs something. Well, they want something in return.
A tax on towns to maintain the English navy. But the Scots then occupied land as far south as Durham, so Charles was forced to recall Parliament again, the Long Parliament. This time the king had to accept their demands, including the Triennial Act, which forbid the king from dissolving Parliament without their consent.
Okay, I'm following. I'm doing pretty well. So, bit of a pickle for the king, and they want to make sure that he can't do the whole, my voice just cracked, Jesus, 10-year-long stretch of getting rid of the parliament, and they want to make sure he can't do that again. I'm following.
Peace was soon made with Scotland. However, in 1641, the Irish also rebelled, and this nationalist and religious uprising soon turned to war. Meanwhile, Parliament, led by John Pym, sent a list of their grievances against the king in the Grand Remonstrance. However, the Grand Remonstrance divided Parliament, as many saw it as too Puritan and populist.
What are the Grand Remonstrance? Jeez.
However, the Grand Remonstrance divided Parliament, as many saw it as too Puritan and populist. Charles rejected the grievances and, in early 1642, marched soldiers into the House of Commons hoping to arrest 5 influential MPs, but they had fled. Charles had now lost control over Parliament and over...
Oh, I swear, if anyone in the comments says, we just want to see a flowing video, you're in the wrong place.
Parliament, as many saw it as too Puritan and populist. Charles rejected the grievances and, in early 1642, marched and Remonstrance. However, the Grand Remonstrance divided Parliament, as many saw it as too Puritan and populist. Charles rejected the grievances and, in early 1642, marched soldiers into the House of Commons hoping to arrest 5 influential MPs, but they had fled. Charles had now lost control over Parliament and over the city of London, so he fled the capital. The population soon began to divide. The Royalists gained the backing of the Catholics, anti-populists, anti-Puritans and the nobility, mainly from the north and the west. The parliamentarians gained the support of the middle class, merchants and staunch Protestants.
I find it interesting how, you have a little parliamentarian block in Wales and a little royalist part down in Cornwall. It's not exactly great borders, okay?
In the south and east.
He goes to France.
In August 1642, after small skirmishes and failed peace talks, the king finally raised his standard in Nottingham, officially starting the war. During the first season of campaigns, the parliamentarians were able to stop the royalists from taking London. However, the royalists made large gains in the west thanks to their Welsh and Cornish allies. In 1643, the king made peace with the Irish and brought his troops to help in England. But at the same time, Parliament signed the Solemn League and Convent with the Scots. They promised to reform the Church of England in line with Scottish Protestantism in exchange for military assistance. The Scots moved into the north of England and lay siege to York. In 1644, the Royalists tried to relieve the city, but their armies were devastated at the Battle of Marston Moor. This battle also helped parliamentarian Oliver Cromwell rise to prominence.
There he is. There's my boy.
And put the north under Parliament's control. Then, in early 1645, the parliamentarians created the New Model Army, a well-disciplined army led mainly by Puritans. This new army crippled the Royalist forces at the Battle of Naseby and took control of the southwest after the Battle of Langport. They then lay siege to Charles's headquarters in Oxford. Charles escaped the city in disguise and surrendered to the Scots in 1646, but he was soon handed over to the English and was imprisoned for most of 1647. However, there was infighting amongst the parliamentarians. The army seized the king and then retook London after Presbyterians protested against the army being in the city. Parliament then engaged in the Putney debates concerning the new constitution. In this chaos, Charles escaped to the Isle of Wight. From there, he made a deal with the Scots, who were worried about the events in England. In 1648, the Scots and Royalists started the Second Civil War, but the New Model Army...
Didn't the parliamentarians just a few bit earlier also get the Scots to invade York? So weren't they sort of committing treason, or am I getting that wrong? Okay, so this is...
Army crushed them in less than a year. The leaders of the army were now unwilling to see Charles return to power, so in December 1648, soldiers blocked MPs lenient to the king from entering the house. The new Rump Parliament moved the king to London and put him on trial for treason. He was quickly found guilty and executed in January 1649.
I forgot, it's a 5-minute video. It can't go, but I remember watching the videos that were going through all the court stuff, and then it's like, they quickly found him guilty and then cut his head off.
From entering the house. The new Rump Parliament moved the king...
Right, the Rump Parliament was crazy. So, like, you could only go in if you were part of a certain side. I would love to just, like, have a peek into that history of just, like, seeing inside if they thought it was a bit... Like, they couldn't have felt good in there, like, making rulings, looking around, seeing, like, 70% of the other people not in there. I don't know if it was 70%, just a lot.
To London and put him on trial for treason. He was quickly found guilty and executed in January 1649, and the Commonwealth of England was formed. But King Charles's son, soon to be Charles II, made an alliance with the Scots and Irish. Cromwell responded to this alliance by invading Ireland, beginning the Third English Civil War. His brutality in Ireland left around a quarter of the Irish population dead. Then, in 1650, now head of the army, Cromwell invaded Scotland and took Edinburgh. But as Cromwell campaigned at the north, Charles II landed in Scotland to lead the uprisings. The king's armies were pursued and defeated at the Battle of Worcester in 1651, ending the English Civil Wars. But by 1653, the army grew frustrated with the new Rump Parliament, so Cromwell marched troops into the House and dissolved it. The barebone Parliament took its place, but that too failed, and Cromwell was offered the position of Lord Protector.
A little bit of hypocrite. Cromwell, didn't he make his son the heir or whatnot? Okay, cool. Quick video. It's not the last video I'm going to watch on the English Civil War, for sure, but redundancy. Keep catching little things, and it really... I did understand the video pretty well. I know I paused a lot, but that was necessary. Okay, cool video. Awesome, Jabsy. Another video today. This is my first one. I was a bit late. See you guys next time.